Venom, Let There Be Carnage. What did you think? Where are you coming from after the first movie too?
That first movie kind of frustrated me because it's so dull and lifeless sometimes. It's not very good, I don't think. I'm not sure about you,
I
but
yeah, here,
mhm.
you go ahead and I'll do mine after.
I just saw that first one just to see the preview for Spider-Verse. That's all I wanted to see was just that. It was like, I think it was like 5 minutes, and Venom was just like, why am I watching this? I was on my phone.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, the first one was kind of, I mean, I liked certain aspects of it, like the symbiote itself, because it just, gives it such personality, and like, they they give it like its own little personality and like traits. But it's directed by the Zombieland guy, and it's just like, what happened? It's not very humorous, and yeah. So that's
Uh,
that's where I'm coming from that first film.
um, yeah, I know some people have been trying to reclaim the first film as like a really fun buddy comedy with weird elements and Tom Hardy losing his mind. And I think we
Mhm.
all like no one said that was the problem with that movie, at least
Yeah,
like if maybe like hardcore comic book nerds that were like, that's not Venom, and like no one
well, it is Venom
Venom
though.
kind of sucks. But also like if
Yeah.
you're gonna reinvent the character without Spider-Man, like you got to do something else different with it. Like the
Hmm.
fact that Tom Hardy like committed to making that like I'm gonna make this my franchise. Um, that's that got me really interested. I was like, why is he throwing his weight around for this? Like, he's been also Academy Award nominated. Riz Ahmed's the villain in this. Michelle Williams signed on to work with Tom Hardy. What's going on here? Uh, and I'm sorry. I tried watching the first one. There's fun stuff in there. Like everyone loves the lobster tank scene. Yes, that's very funny. I also love it. I actually think the action's kind of interesting too. Um,
I think so. Yeah.
but no, sorry, I can't quite get there for that one. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Uh, you and I both saw it last night on a whim. I was thinking about going this morning just because we both been very busy, if you could tell from our September schedules and such. But
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, I'm pretty tired. But I was like, fuck it, we're not going super late. Let's go. I hope I like it. I like the image of Venom at a rave in the trailer. That's
That
like,
was
okay,
amazing.
that kind of
I
looks
love
like
that.
maybe they got the tone right now. Um, I'll let you go first though. I'll let you lead us into this.
I actually really enjoyed this. They went full blown camp. Um, it's about two one, I guess, an alien, but I was gonna say two dudes sharing the same body, and like how they get along, and their own self doubt, and feels like their own like mental health and all that. But I just love the relationship between Venom and his symbiote, or excuse me, Eddie and his symbiote Venom, because it's almost like this weird like self love, self acceptance that they're trying to go through. The whole moral is just they work together, and you know they're accepting of each other. Once you want to feel that, I guess. And Carnage is the anti Venom, where his host takes control of them. So
It's a movie for the boys. That's what it is.
the
No,
boys, yeah.
I mean, it kind of is, but yeah, it's like basically barely a film. Like our another reference to our friend Andrew from Discussing Film. Go follow him. Great guy. Good insight into film. And his review mentioned that the film feels like it's being played on fast forwards, and
Yeah.
I would agree with that. It's like a
Yeah.
brisk 90 minutes without credits.
Right.
Uh, and I
I would
thought it
say,
was still super fun. For
yeah, I would say I actually enjoyed that because the first one was such a slog. It's like almost 2 hours.
yeah,
2 hours
these
of nothing.
I think Tom Hardy's a genius. Like
Yeah.
I think he understands that a movie this ridiculous and like kind of stupid needs to be short. You can't make these 2 hours, 2.5 hours anymore. You can make like an Avengers movie like that long because it's a big like event, and there's a lot of characters to juggle and stuff. Like Totally cool with that. But something like this, like you're kind of just like in the movie. Here's the inciting incident. Here's the character action. Here's the
Mhm.
fallout of that action. Here's how they deal with the consequences. Here's the climax, and here's the resolution. Boom, you're out. Like
Yeah.
you could still make movies like that. Apparently, I would like for it to go less quickly next time because
Mhm.
I was actually really impressed with like the action and like the physicality of the symbiotes too. You know, like
Yeah.
also let me be clear, I don't think this is a great movie. I don't even think it's a very good one, but I think it's an entertaining
Mhm.
one if you genuinely like trash,
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
like
or
three and a
or
half for me.
comedy. I think it's a funny movie. I think it's genuinely funny, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I really appreciate Andy Serkis and his use of visual effects because everything gets like a certain weight. Everything has like a certain different feel, which which the dude that plays Golem, I would think he would know a lot. So really trust him.
Yeah, Andy Serkis, the best.
Yeah, don't see his other movie, The Jungle Book or whatever the fuck it was called. That
I would
wasn't very.
I'd recommend it for different reasons from Let There Be Carnage, but I would also recommend it in spite of its quality. Where like, hey, you remember how they made that surprisingly good Jungle Book movie with Jon Favreau and he revolutionized digital technology and cinematography? Well, the guy who played Gollum also did, but it'll fuck up your kids for life instead.
Yeah, I really
That's why
did.
he
That
watched that movie.
kind of messed me up. I was just kind of traumatized.
Yeah.
Didn't have wasn't Christian Bale in it?
Was he?
I think so. Yeah,
I
could
guess
look
I
it up.
gotta
I
look
know.
this up then. All right, I
Yeah,
looked it up. What else do you think about Venom Let There Be Carnage?
I thought it was. It's just like a fun. It's a fun film. It's really niche and I would say it's just a very like kind of a bro movie almost.
It is very
Because
broy,
it's
but
yeah, it's like this dude that's like getting over like a divorce and his wife leaves him for a more interesting guy and the only his bro Venom has his back.
you know what it reminded me of? Because there is like genuinely interesting character drama in this too. It just stuffed away in this bizarre, weird tentacle fetish film
Mm-hmm.
that made it into mainstream theaters.
Yeah,
It reminded me of Hot Fuzz a little bit. Hot Fuzz is like a masterpiece. I'm not even saying it's
yeah,
close in quality. Let me also make that clear. But you know, the conflict in Hot Fuzz is that like, oh, Sergeant Angel's the most badass cop in the UK. He can do anything except, you know, he doesn't know how to connect to people because he's so good at his job and that's all he is. Whereas
mm-hmm.
like Eddie Brock is like if God spilled a person, you know, his life is a horrible mess. It's a disaster. Every waking moment is pain for him, with or without Venom. And that's why I really like this Eddie Brock. But the point I wanted to make was that like in Hot Fuzz and in Venom, their lives, like they can't be there for other people until they learn to like care for themselves first, like in a
Right.
healthy way. And then they learn to do that. Instead of Nick Frost and Simon and Pegg, it's Tom Hardy and his weird alien buddy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's kind of sweet where it's like,
Yeah,
you know, it's like, oh, you care and that makes it better. And like he has to let the person he was in love with go because she's getting married and like he screwed it up and that happened. That was like really like thoughtful in
mm-hmm.
a Venom movie. You know, like maybe the third one will like change it and like, no, they were meant to be together or some Hollywood bullshit. But I don't know. I thought that was like an interesting direction to go. Like his conflict isn't to get her back. Like Venom eggs it on like that's the conflict of the movie, but it's
Yeah,
totally not. Like it's a joke when he's like, all right, no, kiss her. And it's like, no, he knows that that's over.
yeah.
And I don't know, you just don't see stuff like that.
No,
Yeah.
not really. No.
Something else I really wanted to bring up before I toss it back to you is that I was having conversations about like how superhero related media doesn't really have working class stuff in it anymore, unless it's like The Boys, you know. And even then, it's like, well, they have all this high tech stuff. It's like that's not what that show's about. The show is a critique of like the adoration and capitalist ties of the modern superhero stuff, and that's why that second season's really good, right? And but like Spider-Man doesn't have like struggles with money anymore, and that's pretty like important part of the character. And
Mm-hmm.
lo and behold, I am bestowed Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, who is a mess of a human being, who has the same trash around his apartment from the first film. And it's like, oh, I guess this is my working class guy now.
Venom, yeah.
It's the
Ironic
fucking
that,
Venom movie.
yeah, I feel like it's like a weird Hot Topic shirt where it's like I don't know, like a cringe shirt where it's like, when you start relating more to Venom than Spider-Man, now that what it means to be an adult or something. Or I don't know, people relate more to Squidward
Yeah.
and SpongeBob, or when with the Joker than Batman. It's like,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
but the
know.
Joker Batman one is by like edge lords and shit.
Edge Lords, yeah.
Yeah. And
Just
they're like, oh,
reminded me
you
of that.
understand the Joker when you grow up. And it's like, no, I don't, because I've never killed anyone and I don't plan on it. So
No, yeah,
that's why I don't. Fucking people are weird on the internet.
really are.
Yeah. Do we want to do post credit scenes or spoiler
Yeah,
discussions?
yeah. I
Just
thought that
yeah,
was
okay,
a,
let's just do spoilers. So if someone comes in right now, be gone. Run
get
away
out.
if you care about spoilers for a Venom movie. I'll be honest, I didn't care, so I knew about the post-credit scene going in. But what I didn't know, and again, spoiler, that this is like the only appearance of Carnage, because Carnage gets taken out in this movie, and Cletus Cassidy. And thumbs up for me, because Carnage is also a character I don't really care about. So
You don't like him just at all. You don't think he has a cool design. He's just
he's like
a
a thinner
giant.
red Venom. I like the symbiotes more than I've ever really liked them in execution,
Mhm.
except for Venom 2, Spider-Man 3, and the Spectacular Spider-Man. So what I'm saying is the PS5 Spider-Man 2 sequel has a lot of work to do. And I'm sure
Really
they'll do it
does.
because that first game is like incredible.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I don't care for Cletus Cassidy, I guess. I like the symbiote designs, but I also just like a bunch of them, like the way that looks. There's no like character there for me. The characters up until this film were so like tied to what they represented for the heroes that I never really cared for Eddie Brock or any of that stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
to me, those are blank slates. How they relate to Spider-Man makes them interesting. And they haven't done that in a while. And they still really haven't. But like you could do something interesting with them. But the idea of Cletus Cassidy, even though he's played by Woody Harrelson, I thought it was like fine. The action was like really inventive for some reason
Mhm.
in this.
Yeah.
But do you like Carnage and Cletus? Are you a fan?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up with the characters. Yeah, I thought they were always really interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, I don't know. I just even as like a diehard Spider-Man guy, I guess it just never really correlated, to me.
Sure.
Although the Venom design is like iconic for a reason. Like in hindsight, I thought it was the first movie was gonna bomb, and like in hindsight now, I'm like, yeah, that was the stupidest opinion I've ever had. Of course, it was gonna make like almost $1 billion.
Yeah. A lot of people like Venom, dude.
People like Venom. The bloody
He's in the,
beetroots. The I don't know if they still around, but the DJs, they have Venom masks when they perform.
oh,
Like
that's cool.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know if their music holds up because I moved away from that era, but if anyone knows what I'm talking about, that's you know what I'm talking about. Um, yeah, and Naomi Harris doesn't get a lot to do, but I think she also likes playing weird characters, and maybe that's why everyone likes doing these Venom movies now, because they
It's
just
just
get to be
weird.
weird and play dress up.
Hmm.
And I don't know what a weird fucking franchise.
Yeah. Really is. It's just
uh, do you have any
surreal.
any favorite parts or other stuff you want to talk about before we talk about the implication of the big thing at the end?
Just Venom going to a rave is iconic, and um, I guess there was some allegory because he calls it his coming out thing, right?
Mm-hmm. And
So that's
they just they let Tom Hardy do whatever he wants, and it turns out he's like pro alien rights, and it's like this is a stretch, but it's like pro immigration and such. Like we all need to be nice to each other. That could be applied to anything. And then he's like, yeah, like too long I've been living in the shadows, and this is I'm out of Eddie's closet, and it's like they're covering it up with as much like Hollywood dialogue as they need to, but it's
mhm.
it's a weird movie to have those positive messages
Yeah.
in, but I'm glad they're there. And like the look of Venom
Yeah.
at the rave is like really cool, you know?
Yeah. That was interesting. They
Yeah.
all accepted him too. That was nice.
Yeah, they love Venom. The
Hmm.
country's got Venom fever.
I
That's why
would
this
too.
movie has already made more money than any other in the entire pandemic. That's not true, but it did make more money on opening night than any other movie that's been released since the start of the pandemic.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Movies are back.
Yeah, this the fucking movies. Go go Hollywood. Congratulations, you did it. You survived. All right, let's talk about the big thing at the end then. So, what did you think? Because I knew about it going in. Were you happy, sad, don't care? What's on your mind?
I don't know if I was like happy, but I thought it was neat. I thought it was cool.
All right. I I
Uh,
I'm
I
so I don't think anyone's gonna pop in at this point, but like I guess we could just say it. That looks the multiverse stuff is actually happening like for realsies now, and not like Ralph Boner. Yeah, I didn't even finish, and I know about that, but like it's actually happening, and it brought in characters from other franchises now. Um, I'm not super interested in like the implications of
mhm.
this, because I think it's all just they're gonna pick and choose what they need to bring in for like marketing purposes. But this is 100% a move just so they can keep using Spider-Man in the MCU. And
Yeah.
if it takes putting Venom in the MCU to do that, I'm game because Tom Hardy is a maniac, you know. So
Yeah.
more power to him. Um, I don't know. Do you any last thoughts on Venom or the post credit scene? Because like it's a fun movie,
Um.
but it also doesn't give you that much to talk about.
Yeah. I feel like the excuse me.
We've had a long week. It's fine.
Yeah, the post credit scene was almost like one of those fake sort of like post credit scenes that you see in like on YouTube that get outed as like fake, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel real, and then everyone was reacting to it.
Yeah, people were very excited about that in the theater.
Yeah, someone was like, "Let's go," and I was like,
Yeah, that did
"Where?"
happen. People like their Venom and people like their Spider-Man.
I like
I've
both.
yeah, and they showed the No Way Home trailer before the movie, and
Looked great.
sure,
Sam Raimi
definitely.
said it was great.
Sam Raimi is a saint, and there will be no Sam Raimi slander on this
All right,
podcast.
all right.
Spider-Man 3 makes the majority of the MCU look like dollar Marvel stuff.
Yeah,
I still hold to that. I'll fight for Spider-Man 3. But I'm not the only one. Other people believe it too. And so we need to get the word out to Sam Raimi to let him know that no, you didn't do anything wrong. You were a good boy and you made a good film.
yeah.
Flawed and not as good as the other two, but good. Yeah, all right. Last question then. Venom 3, what do we want to see? Or who do we want to see? And who do we want to see behind the camera? Because I don't know if Andy Serkis is going to do another one.
I kind of want to see Andy Serkis again.
Yeah. I liked what he
Yeah,
did here. I think he's not like at his full power as a director yet, but I wouldn't be against that. I just think it would be cool if this was like Tom Hardy's franchise and he's like, I want to work with this weird director. I want to work with this director and that director, you know, like how Tom Cruise
yeah,
does for Mission Impossible until he met Chris McQuarrie. But where it was like, yeah, Brian De Palma, you do the first one. I'll get John Woo to do the second one. I saw Alias, J.J. Abrams. Who's that? Come to the third one with me. Brad Bird, the Incredibles guy. Absolutely, come on down. You know, like
and then the
I'd like
rest
to.
is just Christopher McQuarrie.
Yeah, you know, whatever. He makes good movies. I'm not. I just would have liked to seen that continue. But he makes
Yeah,
good Mission Impossible, so I don't really care. And you know, maybe that's Andy Serkis. Maybe he just makes Venom movies with Tom Hardy
maybe.
until the end of their days.
I was gonna say I'd want a crazy person, so probably Doug Lyman. Doug Lyman's really crazy.
Doug Lyman, yeah,
Certified.
because he's like a low key crazy, you know, where
Yeah,
it's like
manageable crazy.
he's very flexible as a director too. So that could work. That could really work because you know he's got some duds, but then he's also got like Swingers and Edge of Tomorrow.
Mhm.
which are like
I
some of
like Chaos Walking. I think Chaos Walking was pretty cool.
the okay.
Maybe you should see it.
I'll check it out. I Hey, he made Edge of Tomorrow work, and nobody but me thought that was going to be a good movie. So, and
Yeah.
it turned out even I was wrong because it was an excellent movie. You know, so
Yeah. There you go.
it's what it is. It's what it is. I want to save the spooky season hype for after, but let's look back now, and we could talk about Venom some more if we want because it's our podcast and who gives a fuck. But looking back in the last 5 years of podcasting together, Gene,
Mhm.
what are you most proud of? It's a big
Just the
question.
yeah, just the fact that we had consistency. Trying to think of any individual moments, but the fact in that when we started, it's 2016. I think it was October. You weren't even on that first one. It's just yeah, it was just a Halloween one, but the fact that pretty much every month we've had something out, and in one form or another, and the fact that we've continued where other people have kind of retired or done something else is pretty good to be proud of. We have so many views on YouTube. We've been on panels. We've got to interview interesting people, to say the least, on this show, and hope to continue to 5 more, or when we're like 80, we're still doing this.
I mean, it'll be a fun thing to continue because I think our trajectories in life are not always going to be podcast related. And I don't say that as any disregard to this by any means, because I always have fun doing them. But just, we want to do other stuff in life too. But knowing that this will always kind of be available to do, like, is kind of comforting in a way,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
keep us grounded a little bit. I'm definitely most proud of the panel stuff. And I was very, to be frank, like, concerned about doing it for the first time. I definitely needed some convincing because I was like, nah, who's gonna give a fuck, and then it was
Yeah.
like it was such a blast, and if not for the pandemic, I'd want to do it every year.
Yeah.
But I'll skip out this last one. Next year need everyone to get their shit together so I can go again because it was tons of fun.
Yeah.
Hear that?
Yeah.
Joe Biden. Probably the panel stuff. Yeah, that's, I think. Oh, meeting other mutuals and podcast pals and Twitter friends through
Hmm.
opportunities like this too. There's been tons of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. You're even meeting them in person. You got
Yeah,
to see
meeting them in
their
person. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of fun stuff there, and you can see it all on the YouTube channel and the archives.
Hmm.
Go check
All
all
there.
that out. Don't worry, we're not wrapping up yet. We got stuff to talk about still. But yeah, go. There's tons of playlists. Gene and I, this isn't like a special announcement or anything. It's something we talked about, and I think we'll probably get around to doing soon. We're gonna do like an assortment of playlists for like our favorite episodes or our favorite movies, and it'll be like Gene's playlist where his favorite movies are brought up in podcast form. Diego's blah 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 blah, etc. Just
Yeah.
fun stuff to keep the show going and keep stretching our legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have
And
what's the earliest memory you have of podcasting?
when I was convinced I wanted to like do one, and I didn't know anything about it. So I just recorded from my old MacBook Pro, which I just still have somehow and still works. I definitely
I
need to
don't know
get a
how
new
that
one.
works. Yeah.
And I recorded with, I believe it was probably you. It was at Andrew Santa Cruz's house. Do you remember
Yeah, I
that?
think it was. Yes, I do. I think it was
Yeah, there
you,
was like
me.
9 of us there, and I was just like,
Yeah, it
let's
was.
all just talk and hang out. That's what podcasts are, and like that's
Yeah.
true. But
Yeah.
like we didn't use like microphones or even like headphones for microphones yet.
No.
So like it's like
Well, and
inaudible. It's just not like it is a worthless recording, but not worthless for us. Just
yeah,
it's a funny
I'd
memory. It's like it was so much fun. I was like, yeah, I didn't get anything. So
I'd love to see that one day.
you could. I probably still have it in like an archive somewhere, an old like drive, but then it just sounds like so I
Yeah.
don't know how beneficial that'll be to anyone. But probably the earliest one. And then when I went to school for journalism, I never ran the podcast stuff just because I didn't want to, but I had a show at Rio Hondo about well, it was primarily for spooky season, so it's actually quite fitting that we're doing this right now too and talking about it. We talk about like horror movies, and one of my friends would talk about like she would bring in like real horror events, like horrific stuff from real life, but it was like ghost story stuff, not stuff that actually like happened. It was like
Mhm.
just fun conspiracy theory stuff.
Yeah.
And thankfully they were fun conspiracy theories and not like anything that led her down a rabbit hole of like red pill bullshit or anything.
Yeah, it's
Harmless
too
fun
many.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, but yeah, it's interesting to see how much like it's kind of changed throughout these years recording, and how much will change further in
Yeah.
the podcast to come. So it's been fun. Thanks to everyone who's been listening for this. It's been a weird recording. I recognize that. We will get these down better now that I completely understand all of this Streamlabs
Hmm.
stuff. The setup will also look different on here. But again, we'll get there. Practice makes better. I don't believe in perfect unless it's the Andrei Tarkovsky film Stalker from 1979. That's the only perfect film.
And I don't know, Titanic.
Titanic is very good. Yes, I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's very good. I think. Well, before we get into spooky season hype, because James Cameron does come up there again too. Also, if you want that link of the Abyss, let me know. I think people get too touchy about James Cameron. I know we all dogpiled Avatar, and then I rewatched it a couple times, and I was definitely wrong to dogpile it. It's a solid movie. I think people did the same with Titanic for a while. Like you'll still see people be like, "Oh, it was good, but did it deserve X, Y, and Z?" And it's like this is definitely something I think all people in the movie talking sphere need to like reassort. Make sure you're talking about your reaction to the movie and not reviewing other people's reactions to the movie.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
we all do it. We all get like annoyed and such, but like just try to like restrain yourself, because if you're mad someone liked Black Widow but didn't like Titan, like don't that's not worth getting upset about.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not a real problem in life. There's enough problems in life without that. Like people not
Yeah.
watching 31 horror movies in October 2021.
Gonna watch one right now or something.
Yeah, you should. We could do these for like the more live shows for like a live watch, like our buddy PJ and
Hmm.
Maxwell Haddad, and how they watch movies on live streams. Can't show the movie though, because that's illegal, and your channel will get taken down, which is really the more important pressing issue. But I just made a list of my 31 favorite horror movies for people to watch on Letterboxd, and I'll link it down below in the description. Um, it's not a comprehensive list. There's probably stuff I left out that I didn't think about. I'm not going to read them all off right now because this is a conversation between Gene and I, but if anyone else is curious, go ahead. Gene, how do you prepare for spooky season? We're already in it. What are you looking forward to the most in the month of October? Let's hear it.
I'm looking forward to Halloween Kills. I'll say that right now. But I just prepare by, I mean, just putting together some horror films, just thinking of some I want to revisit or watch to get myself in that mindset. I'd really love to see Night of the Living Dead again, or any Carpenter movie, maybe Evil Dead. They're on HBO Max. Little simple answers, but that's what I go with.
Nothing wrong with simple. Sometimes it's like, what's your favorite zombie movie? A lot of people say Night of the Living Dead, and that's not like a wrong answer. It's a really good
No,
movie.
no, yeah, exactly, yeah. Shaun of
Like,
the Dead.
I've been making more lists this year about like general like favorite films throughout film history, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of my lists tend to start with Nosferatu, and at some point, I will just be perceived as a basic bitch. But it's not my fault that movie goes dummy hard. So
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? Yeah, I also like preparing by watching like a spooky movie. I think I might watch Halloween 3 this weekend, just because like the vibe of that is like so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the autumn textures and the colors and the leaves. And I believe this one was actually filmed, or like actually takes place in California. So you can like
Yeah.
take more advantage of that versus the original Halloween, which has palm trees in the background of
Mm-hmm.
Haddonfield. Which is not like it's not a problem I have. It's just a little funny. It's a fun
Yeah.
spoof, you know. Or Poltergeist, if you're worried about getting too scared, because Poltergeist isn't super scary. It's just fucking awesome. You know. I
Yeah.
am also looking forward to Halloween Kills, though. For the record, Matt and I will
Yeah, me
be
too.
covering it for the retrospective. We'll probably talk about it on a podcast as well, just because there's a fucking lot of movies coming out this month.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep using my A list.
I might have to get that one. Our buddy Andy Comer uh, gave me the heads up that they're doing like a spooky season thing where like every week they're playing like a different horror movie, and I don't think they're announcing them beforehand.
Mm.
So I was like, oh, that sounds super fun. I should do that. And I asked him if the A
Interesting.
list covers that, and I think it does. So
We'll both go.
I'm down if I don't blow my brains out first. That's not a serious statement. I feel like I should start making addendums on that, because I sometimes some family members listen to these, and I don't want to scare anyone about that. But
Yeah.
no, it's been a very stressful time. So like I've been picking and choosing like what movies I go to watch in a theater now, you know, just for right now. I'll get into a groove of things again, but like the day and date releases have definitely helped with certain viewings.
Mhm.
Very grateful for that. Like the Many Saints in Newark just came out, right? So
Yeah.
I'll
Want to
probably
see
watch that
that?
tonight. Fingers
Tell me,
crossed.
tell me what you think.
I will, because that movie's got almost everything going for it and one really big thing going against it. And we don't have time to get into all of
Don't have
that.
time.
But
Nope, we do
no, no,
not.
no.
Alan Taylor.
But for anyone that hasn't seen The Sopranos, which is not related to spooky season, go watch it. It is
There's
unfortunately as good as the people on Twitter have been annoying you about it.
I would say there's some spooky scenes in Sopranos.
I'm sorry, say that again.
So there's some spooky scenes in The Sopranos.
That show gets weird. No one talks about how like weird it gets sometimes,
Yeah,
which
it
is
really
maybe
does.
why it's taken off in like meme Twitter, because it's like really popular with like Gen Z and millennials right now.
Yeah,
Like
it's all
super
about
popular.
because it's all about 9/11.
I can't. I have to stop with the 9/11 jokes, because I made one in real life when I was seeing old friends.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, oh yeah, not the crowd for that. I got it.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Well, I mean, The Sopranos kind of is, but yeah, I wasn't joking. But you got to retire that joke as a Norm Macdonald too. R.I.P.
Oh yeah. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Norm.
9/11. Oh, speaking of Norm Macdonald, happy Amblin. Recording next couple episodes, so stay tuned, everyone. There's a special episode coming out soon.
Yeah.
You might have noticed one episode's been missing from the Happy Amblin archives. If you know what I'm talking about, it'll premiere later this month. We're gonna do some spooky season stuff first, and we're gonna try to get to Dune in the retrospectives, just because David Lynch's Dune is like a genuinely weird film
Yeah.
that a lot of people hate, and I simply cannot. But it is very bizarre, and if you never want to watch it again, I totally understand. It's just very bizarre.
Yeah.
But for more spooky season stuff, is No Time to Die a spooky season movie, Gene?
No, not
Yeah,
really.
I just want to talk about No Time to
Comes out
Die.
next week though. That's cool.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that a lot. We were talking about that yesterday when the trailer played, and I was like, I'm really excited, because I think Daniel Craig's a really good James Bond, and I try to take like recency bias out of it,
Mhm.
but like it's hard because he's so good, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What are your feelings about Daniel Craig as James Bond? And then we'll just talk more about John Carpenter and Halloween Kills before we wrap up.
The Bond I grew up with, I certainly love him.
Yeah.
And all his films. I even think Spectre has a lot to say. A lot of good lot of interesting locales and schemes, and it's not completely unwatchable. And they've even come around to like Quantum of Solace too. So yeah,
I think that's great because I really like Quantum of Solace. I even love Quantum of Solace. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Casino Royale or Skyfall, but I think I don't know, that movie like fits perfectly after Casino Royale to me. Like I could not tell you how many double features I've done of those. Um Casino Royale is like the best fucking movie ever made though, you know? So like it's so
yeah,
good. It is upsetting how good that movie is. And
yeah.
I have also come around on Spectre. Um I was very harsh on it because I loved Skyfall. And that was like one of the first big movies where like I just heard everything that was going down. Like even the like the call sheets were leaking online. I don't know if you remember that. Or it was like,
Yeah, that was weird.
yeah, like that movie. Not that this isn't even like about my negative feeling of the film. Like I think like, dude, just wait next time. You know, like it's
Yeah,
not ready to go. Don't make the movie.
yeah.
Like it's a bummer that keeps happening. Like you think we'd learn our lessons. Um, but there's definitely good stuff in that. And I think the first like half of that movie is at least like solid enough.
Hmm.
The Mr. White stuff, I think they kind of I think they blew that because I really like that character.
Yeah,
Like as a villain, I thought it would have been fun instead of like him just getting killed off. I think it would have been interesting if he was like, oh, Spectre's taking out rival spy agencies, and now he has to protect the guy who can give him access to that. And it's the guy who ended up getting his first love killed, right? Like to me, that was like, oh, that's a perfect dynamic. And then they didn't do that. And that might be on me because I just thought that up in my brain. But
yeah.
I don't know. There is potential there. But No Time to Die, I think, looks fucking great. And I've
Looking
been
forward
looking
to that.
forward to it since Cary Fukunaga was announced back in like 2018.
Hmm. Same.
Yeah.
Hottest Spawn director.
Oh yeah, that is the thing. He's like the only Bond director to get like a Vanity Fair cover.
Yeah,
Like
it's cool.
I respect
He
that
has
though, you know.
he has a lot to relate to him.
Yeah, I know. He could have played Bond, I guess.
Maybe.
And yeah, like I guess that's also something that's worth noting too. Like there's just going to be inherently recency bias for us because that was the Bond that we've had in most of our lives at this point.
Hmm.
And like even like there's all these stories about Craig like saying he'd rather slit his wrist than do another Bond. And then there's like all this footage of him, like this candid footage of him like giving these emotional farewell speeches, and it's like, yeah, like Bond wasn't the problem. It's just Spectre made everyone want to kill themselves, you know.
Yeah.
So really looking forward to that next week, and I believe we'll be doing an episode on that. I don't want to,
Yes.
yeah.
Currently, yes.
All right, yeah, we're gonna have a very fun guest, old friend of the show, and that one will probably go on a little long. So I don't know if it'll be live. I say that with love though, if that person is listening, because we always have very fun conversations.
Yeah.
And I guess the last thing then, yeah, Halloween Kills hype, John Carpenter, back doing the score. Did they shoot the third one yet, or have they not started yet for
That I'm
Halloween?
not sure of. That I'm not sure of.
Okay, yeah, because I remember they wanted to do all three back to back, and then they were like, let's hedge our bets because if people don't like this one, our careers are over. And
Yeah.
then most people liked it. I loved it. I still love that 2018 movie. And now they were planning to do 2 and 3 back to back, and then COVID happened, so they never got to start on 3, and I don't know if they ever did yet. Um, this one's getting. I don't really tend to talk about like review stuff on here unless it's like relating to like a retrospective or something, but I definitely brought it up to you yesterday where like it's interesting that 2018 Halloween like premiered at like either TIFF or like Fantastic Fest and like these genre festivals that like of course are going to get a better reception than like the Venice Film Festival.
Right.
Like David
Yeah.
Cronenberg premieres movies there. Like
Yeah.
these are
They're
fucking.
snobs.
I mean, they are kind of snobs, and that's not me saying the movie's going to be good. It could be a disaster. Most Halloween movies are a disaster, which is part of their charm sometimes. But like, yeah, don't premiere a movie, your $10 million horror movie at like the Cannes Film Festival, man. You know, like
Mhm.
unless you're gonna do like some neon demon shit, you know, like there's certain crowds at those places. You have to like play to the audience to an extent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. That to me, that just blew my mind. I was like, why would they release that there? Like, whose idea was that? Like, I don't know. Just silly stuff I thought about. Anything else we wanna talk about before we log off for spooky season hype? Then, I mean, anything else we're looking forward to?
Dune.
Dune, yeah, Dune.
Yeah.
Dune is Dune scary? Is Dune spooky season?
Not really. No.
No,
It's hard sci-fi.
yeah, just really fucking dense. I'll read the book after the movie comes out, before part one and part
Yeah.
two.
Still reading the book.
Yeah, we're all still reading the book. No one's ever finished it.
No.
Alejandro Jodorowsky is still reading Dune.
Maybe he is.
Yeah, I mean he's so fucking old and weird. Don't know why that guy hasn't gotten in more trouble. Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, Dune hype, I guess, is the last thing I'll end off on. Spooky season. We'll be back talking more about it as the week continue. It's very exciting. It's one of my favorite times of year. And then November is kind of always a little lull for us. We try to figure out what to do then. So if anyone has any ideas for the hangouts, we're like open to them. So,
Very open.
yeah,
Very
for November,
open.
let us know.
Just pitch us an idea and we'll do it.
Yeah. Silent film retrospective. Oh, since I have
That's all
a couple,
silent.
yeah, since I have a couple people here, if anyone knows where I can watch the 1927 Napoleon film, the one by Abel Gance, let me know, because the Blu-ray is like $35 and it's region locked to Europe and the UK.
Mhm.
So let me know, because I'd really like to see that before Ridley Scott's version of it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. I have a region free player, but you know, if I don't have to buy the Blu-ray right now, it's expensive. I gotta save up for Christmas. And then yeah, Dune, last thing on Dune. I think it looks fucking great. I don't know. If Denis Villeneuve could make Blade Runner 2049 one of my favorite films of the last decade, like work,
Mhm.
I kind of trust him with whatever he wants to do at this point, you know.
Yeah.
So thumbs
Same.
up. Oh, and I guess that sequel's like 100% gonna happen.
Thank God. Thank
Yeah.
God.
Like there's no story about this, but you've heard Warner Brothers and him talk about it, right? Where they're like, yeah, it doesn't really need to do that good in theaters because of the pandemic. And they're like really softballing it. We're like, hey, you know, if it just brings in more HBO Max subscribers, and it's like, this is shortly after Christopher Nolan signed up with Universal, you know, so it's like, oh, they're gonna make that movie for him because they need to keep their like auteur directors like happy. Otherwise,
them in
they're
the
also
stable,
gonna go
yeah.
to like Sony and Universal, and so
Yeah.
I find that very funny. Or it's like the timing is just like back to back on those.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Signing off, Gene. Where can the people find you? And that's it. Yeah, I got nothing else. It's been a long week.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Gene9892.
Yeah, you can find me at Diego Crespo on Twitter. Check out the Waffle Press on Twitter as well, and YouTube and SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and Patreon. We can get early access. Some other stuff got cooking. More writing coming your way. I've been making more lists. There's actual like writing happening though on my free time, so stay tuned. I have thoughts, and I don't always get to podcast about them. So the Patreon has to be the burden of that. But thanks for everyone for listening. Thanks, Gene, for joining me after all these years. And we have been professionally unprofessional.